We'll start the session from the previous topic that we have already discussed. In the previous topic, we have discussed the inheritance and polymorphism, that is method overriding. One type of the polymorphism is already discussed day before yesterday, that is method overloading. So yesterday we have discussed that what is method overriding, and the rules that we should remember that when we override any method, then what we can perform. Let me open. So yesterday, as we have seen that how to perform the inheritance, and then types of the inheritance, after that upcasting, downcasting, and polymorphism, that is method overriding. Now I will start this session from one keyword, that is final. So first of all, we'll discuss what is final keyword. Final keyword. So final is a keyword that is introduced in Java, and we can use this final keyword at three places. The use of this final keyword in three places. One is with the variables. Second one is your classes, and third one is your methods. So final can be used with variables, okay, classes, you can use with the classes, and methods. So signature is very simple. Just write the variable name followed by your final keyword, followed by final keyword, followed by your class name and the method name. What if we use with the variable? So if we use with the variable, so in one line we can say, to define constant in Java, we use final keyword, this one. So if you want to define any constant in Java, then you will use the final keyword. And as we know, in the previous languages like C and C++, we use const keyword to define the constant, and the constant will not change its value throughout the program. So in that way, if you want that to define any member of the class as constant, as that it should not be changed, then you will write with the final keyword. And the naming convention, what is the naming convention for the constant? So the naming convention for constant is write in uppercase. This is the naming convention. Okay. Java says that if you define any constant into the Java, just write to identify that this is constant in your code. So we should write that constant into uppercase. So with variable, if we use, then that will become constant. So how do we use this? Let's see with the example. So I'll back to my previous code, that is this one. And I'll delete this. final int and a. As you can see, final int a. Come to this point, I'll define it over here. Final int a is 20, and system dot out dot println a is equal a. This way, let's see. So let's compile it. Java C, then my class.java. Successfully compiled, then I'll run it. And this is, so a is equal 20. So this is very simple. You just need to use the final keyword. What if I want to change the value of a as, and now I want to a as assigned value 30. So if I'll compile it, then you can see the cannot assign a value to the final variable a because it is final. So I hope if you want to define any constant in Java, then you will use final keyword. It is clear to everyone. And as we have already discussed, that is two keywords are not in use in Java. One is const and second one is goto. So in place of const, we use final keyword to make constant in Java. Few things that you have to you need to remember that if I define this as final int a, okay, and if I assign the value as 20, is it possible or not? Can we define and can we assign the value into constant? Okay, good. Okay, fine. So let's see what happen if we compile it. Then we'll compile it. Then we are getting no error. So it means we can assign a value. Okay, so make clear note of it that yes, if we define and we are not initializing it, so we can assign a value to the constant one time. Okay, so one time you can assign. Let's see what happen if we execute it. Now a is equal to 20. I hope this statement is clear. Now what I say that if a has a value that is 20, now it has been initialized with the a is equal to 20. Can we write now a is equal 30? Let's see. Again, I'm going to compile it. Now you can see that a variable a might already have been assigned. So I hope this makes clear to everyone that if we define a final or if we define a constant into uh, Java and we are not initializing it, then Java provides and gives a chance that assign a value to it. After assigning it, you cannot change it. Okay, as you can see, if I'm trying to assign a with the new value, then this raises an error. Clear? Fine. Now, if I ask that int a that I have defined over here, is it local or not? Int a is local. A is local variable. Yes, local. Ming, we have already discussed that if you declare no, Hinduja, no, 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 no. Uh, if you have remembered the second session, then I told you that at the last slide that this slide is very important, that you can define variable as local, and you can define variable as a static, non-static. But Hinduja, make sure that there is no concept of the global variable in Java. Uh, there may be only these type of the variable. One is local. Second one is your instance variable and class type variable. Okay, and the reference variable. So global variable means a variable that you define and that can be accessed everywhere. So we don't use this term in Java. Global variables like term we don't use in Java. So if you declare any variable or constant inside a method, that will be local to this method. Local means that this cannot be accessed outside of this method. Are you getting my point? This A cannot be accessed outside of this method, that is main. Similarly, why I'm saying this is a local variable, suppose if I define a method that is, I have defined this method so many times, that is show. So I can define a variable int A, a constant, we should say constant, A is equal to 20 like this. So this A will have the accessibility within show method. If you want to access this A outside of this show method, this is not possible because the scope of this variable is local. So this variable is local. Look at if I compile it. Okay, I'll delete this point because again I'm compiling it. Just look at this. We are not getting an error. Okay, so this is the local variable. Instance variables are those variables which are defined outside of the method inside a class. So this is instance variable like int A, int B. So these are called instance variable. I hope this point is now recalled to everyone. Now, so in the same way, we can define the constant as instance variable. So I will go write in final int x is equal 20. Can we write it? Definitely we can write this statement. And if I access, remember this point, I'm going to write this one, system.out.println, and if I want to print x is equal, then I can access direct because we have learned the static and non-static concept. And if I need to access this show method, then I will declare and I will create an object of this class. And I will write ob.show. This method will be called. Now we'll see that what is the output according to this code. I hope this is visible. Now, again, I'm going to compile. Okay, this X is capital. That's why I'm getting error. Now run it. So A is equal 20, that is defined into the main. Look at here. A is equal 20. I'm writing system.out.println. Then let it print A is equal 20. After that, I'm creating object and calling the show method. So it prints X is equal 20. Fine. So I hope this declaration is clear. Good. Okay. So here you need to remember and make a note of these points, what I am going to tell you now. Int a is, if I define, what will be the default value of a if I'm not assigning or initializing with the value? Then it will be 0. Definitely. Good, good, good. So, so in this case, if I'm not assigning the value, then what will be the value of x? So in this case, a will be 0. And for the final variable, if you define a final into a constant as instance variable, then variable x not initialized in the default constructor, so we will get error. Okay. So make sure if you have defined like this final variable, then before using it, it must have some value. Let's see, according to the error, it says that variable x not initialized in the default constructor. So let's see, can we define a constructor and can we initialize the value of x? Let's see, x is equal 20, and now I'll compile it. Now we can see there is no error. So the conclusion is, if you want to use any constant into your code, it must be initialized. It must be initialized. Either that variable is local or that variable is defined at the class level. It must be initialized with some value. So as we have already discussed, and we know that if we define a variable into class that is not final, then that will be initialized with the default value. But the constant is not initialized with the default values. You need to provide some values. That value could be anything, a 0, 1, 2, or according to your variable type, the constant type. Good. I hope now the final is clear. Constant is clear, actually. Fine. So this is one use of the final keyword. As I have mentioned into it, that the final can be used with the variable. So when we want to define any constant, we use final keyword. We can use with the class and methods also. So what if I use with the method? So use with the method. Fine. So if you use with the method, then that method cannot, okay, still breaking? Just tell me, it's still breaking? Okay, good. So then that method cannot be override. So that method will become constant, that we cannot redefine that method, as we have seen yesterday that how to override a method. So if you want that this method should not be override into the child class, then make that method as final. Final method cannot be override. But sometimes it makes confusion to the student that that method cannot be inherited. So it is not true that that method will be inherit but not override. Means in the child class we will not able to redefine that method. Let's see with the example. So yesterday we have seen this. This is the definition. One class we have defined with the name of the parent with the method show. Another class we have defined with the child that extends the parent class, and we are overriding this show method into the child class. So overriding concept says the signature must be same. This is the way. And if I want to access, then I will create the child object is equal new child like this. Then we can write ch dot show and ch dot one more method is in child, that is display. So this is the very basic example that we have already seen. So this will execute first the show method that is redefined over here. So it will show you the message that is show from child. When you call ch.display, it will call display from the child. Let's see that is there any error in this code or not. So I'll compile it with inheritance.demo.java. I will execute with the class. Let's see. So show from child and display from the child. If you want that this method that is defined into the parent should not be override over here, so make this method as final. Okay, so make this as final, and after that if I'll compile it, then look at the message. Error, show in child cannot override show in parent is final, as you can see here. So overridden method is final. So you cannot override it. So if you want to make a constraint that this method should not be changed into the child class, then you can define it as this one. Now we cannot redefine it, means we cannot override it. But can we call this show with the object of the child class? So yes, this method is final, cannot override, but this method will be available to the child, will be inherited. Let's see that the final method is getting inherited in child class or not. Yes, as you can see, Java C inheritance demo.java compiled fine. Now if I run it, so show that define into the parent class will be called and display from the child class is called. So to make a method as constant that should not be override, we make as final. Clear? Now we can use this final with the class also. So use with class. It is very simple. That class cannot inherited. Okay, so that class that you define as final cannot be inherited, and in other word you can say that class cannot have any child. Okay, so if you want that further, after some definition further, this class should not be inherited and this class should not have any child, then make that class as final. Okay, So as we can see, this parent now I have defined as the final, and I'm trying to extend the parent into the child class, as we can see here. So this will raise an error because the final class cannot be inherited. So cannot inherit from the final parent as we have declared over here. Fine. So it is very simple that the final class cannot be inherited. And by default, final class, every method becomes final. So this class is now final. So these three uses of the final keyword. Just remember this use of the final. Uh, what? Okay. Any one of you doing a job right now, or are you studying somewhere? Any? Yes, you can tell me. It is not. Okay. Are you doing job development and anything, or you are currently in academics? Job means, are you a developer, or still you are in academics? Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. So it means you all are looking for a job, and definitely you all are looking in the field of the Java. That's why you are learning. So one question that is very common to sorry, that is very common for every aspirant. That is, what is final? Okay. So what happened every time a student and says the final is a keyword, that's fine, very good, and we use the final keyword to make a constant in Java. So this answer is fine, but incomplete. So if anyone asks that what is final, then you will say yes, final is a keyword, and we use final keyword to define the constant in Java, and it can be used with it can be used in three ways with the variable, classes, and methods. And if we use with the variable, then that variable become constant. If we use them with the method, then that method cannot be override. And if we use with the class, then that class cannot be inherited. So this is the proper answer. Okay. And one more thing that can be asked, that what is a difference between final, comma, there is a keyword that is called finally, and finalize. I'll discuss these all things, but since I'm discussing final, that's why I'm telling you this question is also very common question. So what is difference between the final, finally, and finalize? So if you are aspirant and you want and you are searching for the good job, just look, find out that what will be the answer of this question. So I hope the final keyword is now clear to all of you. Okay. Someone mic is open. Just look at your mic. Okay. Now come to the new topic. So we'll discuss very quickly, that is what is operator and how to use with the variables and with the data types. We have already uh, since you have learned the C and C++ previously, so you must aware with the operators. And so in Java it is also available. And how do we use it? Just look at these things very quickly. So as we know, there are 8 primitive data types in Java, and all primitive data types are defined as a keyword in lowercase in Java. So these are your primitives data types. Integer type, floating, character, and the Boolean. And integer type, we have byte, int, short, long. Floating point type of the float, double. Character type is char, and Boolean type is Boolean. Okay. And we have already seen this also, the default values of every data type. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.0, 0.0 for the float, and double, false for the Boolean. And the size we have already seen, and the range. So this is now this is important. So what is expression in programming? So expression is anything which evaluates to something. So if you write any statement in your program, and if it gets evaluated, then that is called expression. For example, if you write something like, here is my code. Yes. This one, and delete this one. So if I write a is equal 20 plus 30, so this is expression. Okay. If I define, sorry, I write integer a, complete statement. And if I have already defined some variable like integer x is equal 20 and y is equal 10, and after that if I write integer m is equal x plus y, so this is called expression. So this will execute, and after this will be evaluate, and after evaluation it will show you, it will give you some result. So this is called expression. And expression are a combination of operator and operands. Okay. So what is operator and what is operand? So Java provide a rich set of the operator to manipulate the variables. So in this case, this is called operand and this is called operators. So in a single statement, if anyone asks that what is operator, so simple statement is operators are the symbols. Operators are the symbols in programming. So as you can see, the plus is a symbol that manipulate on x and y to perform the addition. So Java operators can be divided into these categories. We can divide all the Java operators into the following groups. One is called arithmetic operators. So plus, minus, multiplication, division, and modular. Assignment operator, and this is called plus and assignment, minus and assignment. So this is the shorthand of values. And this is also available in Java, that is increment and decrement operator. Relational operator means we can check whether two values are equal, not equal, one value is less than, second value is greater than. So we can use with the relational operators. Logical operator, that is or, logical or, this is called. and logical AND. Bitwise operator, bitwise AND, bitwise OR, exclusive OR, right shift and left shift of the bits. So you must know uh, all the operators. In the previous languages, it is also available. So I hope this is already you have seen. So come to here. Associativity, it is not important. Now come to this part, that is arithmetic operations that will be performed by using arithmetic operator. So addition, we can perform 3 nums plus 7 plus 9. Num is a variable that holds the value, so we can write like this. Subtraction, like this, 17 minus 2 minus a minus 35. Multiplication, if you have a variable num with some value and y with some value, then you can multiply it. Division, that is 100 divided by the value, and modulo. Modulo, every time it returns the remainder. And the compound statement also you can write. You can combine all the operators in one statement to make a compound statement like this. And bracket can also be used to change and the precedence of your operators. So the bracket has the highest precedency, so it will execute first. After that, this will be multiplied with num, then this will be evaluated, and after that this will divide to the result. So you all, I hope, are using this kind of the statements. Now the shorthand of writing. For example, look at here. If I have a variable integer a is equal 20 and I want to add into 50, so I will write a is equal a plus 50. Similarly, I can write the same statement like this: a plus is equal 50. So these two statements are same. Okay, so this is the shortcut that you can use, and this is the statement I want to add into the same variable with some value. So look at here. Num is equal num plus 2. We can write num plus is equal 2. Num is equal num plus y plus 5 is equal to num plus y plus 5. Num is equal to num into z plus 5. So we can write like this. And num is equal to num by 10. This can be write like this. So I hope this one is clear. Now assignment operator. Assignment operator, just remember arithmetic assignment when we perform. So we have to um, aware with the kind of the code like this. Num, just look at here, num multiply is equal y plus 5 does not equal to num is equal num multiply y plus 5. Okay, so this statement actually equal to the whole num will be multiplied with the y plus 5. Are you getting? Num multiply is equal to y plus 5. It means that num will be multiplied with the right hand all the value. So this cannot be right like this. This will be equal to this statement. So when you are using this kind of the statement, make sure that you are using it the right way. And when you will get any online uh, exam, you are in online exam, and if you get any kind of the code, this kind of the code, just make sure you are evaluating in the right way. So this will be equal to this one. So this is, I hope this statement is also clear. And assignment always has the lowest precedency. What is mean by the precedency? Precedence means the order of the execution of the operators. So these all are operators: equal, multiplication, plus. So the equal is called the assignment operator. So it has the lowest. It will be evaluated at very last. And so these will be evaluated according to the precedence, and after that it will return the result to this num. Okay, so equal, or you can say the assignment operator has always a lowest precedency. And one more thing I just want to mention over here. At this is your assignment operator. So always write the expression at the right side of the assignment operator. The left side, always only one variable will be here. In Java, you cannot write like this a and comma b, or you cannot write like this a plus b is equal a plus 50 something. Okay, so at the left hand side of equal, always only one variable name that will hold the evaluated value. Now, increment and decrement operator, this will increment value by 1 and decrement value by 1. So it is also known as unary operator. Unary operators means the operator which operate on a single operand. So unary operator are of two types. One is called increment and second one is called decrement. And we can use these operators in two ways. One is called in the way of prefix notation, and second one is in postfix notation. So what is prefix and what is postfix? Just look at in the next slide. Suppose if we have defined a variable with the num and it has some value, for example 2, 3 and any value. So if I write num plus plus, so this is called postfix increment. So num is incremented by 1, but it is postfix. This is called the prefix increment. So plus plus num, it is also increment by 1. Num minus minus, this is the postfix increment. Num is decremented by 1. And this is called the prefix decrement. So how to use this prefix and postfix? Let's see here. When the prefix notation is used, prefix means the plus plus operators before your operand. The operation is performed first and the result is evaluated. This is the way. And when we use the postfix notation, then the result is evaluated first and then the operation is performed. Operation means the increment and decrement operation. So the operation is performed first, then result evaluated. Here, the result first evaluated, then operation is performed. This is the difference between prefix and postfix. For example, if we have integer x is equal to 5, and if we write integer y is equal x plus plus, so this is called postfix notation. So in this case, just look at here. In postfix notation, the result is evaluated first. So what will be the result of this expression? So the result of this expression will be 5. So this 5 will be assigned to y, and after that, the operation is performed, that is increment or decrement. So as we can see, the operation of the increment, so x will be increment by 1. So in this case, y will be 5 and x will become 6. So this is the postfix. And same, if I write integer z is equal plus plus x, it means we are performing the prefix notation, and prefix says the operation is performed first, that is increment or decrement. So here the plus plus, it means the operation of increment will be performed first. So x will be increment and x will now become 7, and now result is evaluated. So the whole result of this expression is 7 and will be assigned to z. So in this case, x will be 7 and z will be 7. So this is the way that postfix and prefix notation works. Okay, I hope this postfix and prefix is also clear. Now, the relational operator, one note for the relational operator is, it is also known, we can say it is the comparison operator. We compare two expressions, or we can compare two values. So the relational operator always return the result in the form of true or false. Means the return type of the relational operator of relational expression will always be the Boolean type. Okay. So if one value is less than another value, it will return true. And if the value okay. So so in this case, for example, a is equal 5 and b is equal 7. Um, can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay, okay. So a is equal to 5 and b is equal 7. So if I write a is less than b, so definitely if a is 5 and b is 7, so it will return true. A is greater than b, it will return false. Less than equal, yes, either less or equal. So this is true. Greater than equal to b, no, so it is false. It will check the equality. If a and b are equal, then true, otherwise false. So since a and b are not equal, so false. A is not equal to b, yes, it is true. And you can store this result because as I said, relational operator always return the Boolean result. So that result can be of type of true or false. So we can store the value into the Boolean variable. Or so Boolean result is equal a double equal to b, so it will return accordingly. So no, it is not equal, so it will return false. The result will store that value and we can print it. So this is the way that you can use it. Logical and, logical or, and logical not. How do we use it? So it also returns true and false. Evaluates to the true when the both operands are true. Means if you have more than one expression and you concat those expression with the and, logical and if both expression gives you the result true, then it will true. Otherwise, in every case, it is false. Or evaluates to true when or at least one of the operand or expression is true. So at least one, if all the expression gets false, then it will return false. Otherwise, in every case, if any one of them is true, then it will true. And what not does, not will flip the result. Flip means if the result is true, then it will flip that result to false. So evaluates to true when its operand is false. And if it is false, then it evaluates as true. Just look at here. A is equal B, B is equal to 70. So I am combining two expressions, that is A is less than B and B is less than 80. So first of all, this will evaluate. So this will give you the result as true. And B is less than 80, yes, this will give you the result as true. Since both are true and combined with the AND, so it will return true. And in every case, as you can see, B is greater than 80, no. So it will give you the result as false. And it is true, but AND says all the expression must be true. So in this case, one is false, so this will result false. This will result again false, and this will give you the result accordingly as false. A is equal to 22 and B is equal 55. Just look at here. Plus plus A is less than 10. Plus plus A means first of all evaluate, so it will be 23. 23 is less than 10. Yes, it is false. And plus plus B is less than 80. Yes, it is true. But since both should be true, one is false, so it will give you the false. And what will be the value of A and B? So as we know that this is, this will become the 23, but this is, I'm printing 55. Okay. So now, can anyone tell me that why this happened? That B is, we are getting only 55, it not gets evaluated. Do you know why we are getting 55? It should be 56, I guess. No? Can you tell me that is it correct or it should be 56? Because we are using prefix notation in both. It should be 56 because we are using plus plus. Because okay, Justin, so why it will not execute plus plus B? Means the answer is correct. That is A, B is equal to 55. You are saying. Is that so, Justin? So B should be 55 or B should be 56. Hinduja. As Ming says, B should be 56. Plus plus B is equal to 56. So in this case, you are saying that it should be 56. So I'll come to the coding. So it will make clear to everyone. Just come here. Integer A is equal 22 and B is equal 55. I'll use the same uh, statement. System.out. Yes, print ln plus plus A is what is is less than 10. I'll write 10, and plus plus b is less than 80. Yes, and very good, Justin. Very good. Println and a is equal plus a and plus b is equal plus b. Let's see with the output. Java C my class dot Java and Java my class, this one. So a is equal 23 and b is equal is still 55. Yes, yes, Justin, you are correct. So what happened in the case of logical and logical or? Just understand it. I'll make a note here. Just look at this. Logical and, this one. It says that if this is true and this is true, then result is true. This one. And if any one is false, the result is false. Am I correct? Are you getting my point? So if all the expression that you want to evaluate with the and in that case, if all the expression are true, then it will be true. If with the and any expression gets false, okay, so if any expression false and add is after that you write, then it will not execute the further expression. It will not execute it because we are trying to get the true result, but if it becomes false, then why this should be executed? And this term is called short circuit. Short circuiting it is called. So if any expression gets false before the AND operator and logical AND, then after that if you write any expression, it won't be executed. The term is called short circuit. Short circuiting, this is called. So plus plus a will be evaluate and this will become 23. 23 is less than 10, so this will become false, and it will find that after that it is written and, so it will not go to this expression because it gets false. So a will become 23, but still b is 55. Clear? Now Meng and Hinduja. Okay. Similarly, if we use the OR operator like this, and if I write that plus plus is greater than this, just look at here. So the logical OR, if I say the logical OR and we use the logical OR like this, it says if anyone is true, then it will true. So in what case it will be false? If both are false. Is that so? The OR will be false if every expression will be false. So now, if this expression gets true, then it will not move to further expression. There will be no effect of this expression's result. Either this expression gets true or false, it doesn't matter. if this is true and if this is false, result will be true. If this is true and this is false, then it is true. So it will not evaluate this expression. So in this case also, you will find that B is not getting increment. Just look at the example that you can see A is equal to 23 and still B is equal to 55. It is also called short circuit in terms of logical OR. So the statement says, if we have an expression before the OR, logical OR, and if that expression gets true, then after that, no expression will be evaluated. Fine? Okay, good. So I'll be back in 1 minute. Just wait. So, I hope this short circuiting is clear, that how to do that and in what manner your code will be evaluated. And now I hope uh, that you can read your the code effectively, that if we find any expression like this, then which part will be executed and which part will not be executed in case of logical and in case of logical OR. So logical and logical OR are also known as the short circuit operator. Bitwise operators, the bitwise operators are recommended where memory saving is required. So these kind of operation will perform when maximum time when you will code like on embedded and robotics and all the things in which we shifted the bits accordingly and we perform the operations. So we'll see very quickly that what is bitwise operator and how do we use it. So for example, system programming of Java, cards programming, etc., and embedded and robotics type of the coding. It is also used in encryption and decryption programming to shift the bits and change the values. It is not recommended to use bitwise operator in routine application programming. Okay, that we follow in general programming category, so it is not recommended. Why? The resulting code is not very easy to understand. If you write the code, then other will not understand very easily, and the flow of the logic is not obvious. So that's why it is not recommended. But let's see that how it performs the operation. So bitwise and bitwise or bitwise exclusive, or we say that is XOR. Sometimes we read it as XOR. Bitwise ones complement, left shift, right shift, and unsigned right shift. So these are your bitwise operators. And bitwise operators perform the operation on the bits. So as you know that the value will be stored into the computer in the form of the bits. So if you perform the operation using bitwise operators, so it will perform on the bits directly. Just look at here. if I have a value like 21, so 21 will be represented into the computer as uh, if we represent it to 8 bits, then it will be represented as 0001 0101. So I hope you all know that how to convert a value into the bits, into the binary value. So this is the way that you can convert it. So 00010101. So this is equivalent to the 21 binary. Okay. Now binary addition, I hope you must know 00 will be 0, 01 is 1, 10 is 1, and 11 is 10. This one. This is the binary addition. Now, if a is equal to 21 and a and b is another variable that is 6, and if we want to perform a and b, so first of all, what happened? 21's binary value will be and with the 6 binary, and we know that the AND will perform and give you the result true if both the bits are true, or we can say we will get 1 in case of when the both bit value is 1. So look at here, 21 can be represented as 0001 0101. This is equivalent to the 21, and this is equivalent to your 6, that is 110. Now perform the AND operation. So look at here, 10, so both are not same, so we'll get 0. 01, so we'll get 0. 11, sure, it is 1. Now 00, 0, 10, 0, and 000. So this is the AND operation. Now this result will be converted into the equivalent decimal, and after that, if we'll convert this value, then we'll get the result as 4. So this is the way that AND operation perform the operation, bitwise AND operator. Similarly, OR, in OR, if both values bits are 0, then result 0, otherwise result will be 1. So in the case of the value 21 and 6, as you can see, 10, so 1 bit is here 1, so we'll get the 1. 01 will get the 1. 11 definitely, both are true, so 1. 00 will be 0. 10 is 1, and rest of the 0. And if we'll convert this binary value into equivalent decimal, then we'll get the result as 23. So this is how your bitwise OR operator will be performed. Okay, so is it clear that how to perform the bitwise and how the bitwise OR gets performed into the system? This is the evaluation. Okay, what is bitwise XOR, exclusive OR we say, and to represent this we use the symbol, and we say this symbol as the caret symbol, caret, and you will find the symbol at the keyboard on the 6 numeric value. So by using shift, and you will able to use it. What it says if both bits are same, listen, if both bits are same, then result will be 0. It is called exclusive OR operation. So for 21 and 6, I'm taking the same value and I'm going to perform A and B. So this is the representation of 21, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and this is the representation of the 6. So look at where the both bits are same. So here both bits are same, 1 and 1, so it will be 0. Here the both bits are same, so result is 0. both bits are same, result is 0. And at the location where both bits are different, we'll get the result 1. So 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 0. This is the same 0 1 0 1. So in this case, if we evaluate the resultant bit pattern, then we'll get the result as 19. Okay, so this is the way that how bitwise exclusive OR gets executed. Now come to the ones complement, and this is very common question, and it can be asked. Int a is equal 21, and if we perform int num is equal the bitwise ones complement, and if you print this num, then this will be give you the result as minus 22. This will be minus 22. So the shortcut is to remember this is if we perform the bitwise ones complement on a number, if that number is positive, then the result will be negative with the increment of one value. So if we perform the bitwise ones complement with the positive, so this will be increment by 1, that will become 22, and result will be negative value. So you can see this one. This is the shortcut to remember this point. Okay. So I'm not going to explain this point in very detail because it is not required. Ones complement and this way. So I hope the operators are clear to everyone, and how the operation gets performed on the operand is also clear to all of you. Okay. Good. Now this is all about the operators. Come to next part, that is called conversion and the typecasting. We can say that how to perform the typecasting. Fine. Yes, Ming. I'm not getting. Okay. So we have already seen these things. Now come to the type conversion. Okay. Type conversion, to understand this point, and we have already seen recently that how the values are going to be stored into the system. It is in the form of bits. Okay. Now let's see some coding and some uh, arithmetic operation. We can define integer values or integer variable like this: integer x, long y. This is also contains the integer type of the value, but the range will increase, and integer z. X and y are initialized with some value. For example, we are considering it that x and y has some value, and we are performing this operation that z will store the value x plus y. Can we add x to y? The question is, can we add x to the y? Why this question comes into the mind? Because they are different types, but they both are integral. And can we assign the result of the expression x plus y to the z? Z is an int 32-bit, y is long as 64-bit. So few things that you have to remember. Can we add x to y? So remember this point, only the operation can be performed if both or if the both variables type is same. So can we perform the operation x plus y? So with the example, we'll try to find the answer. One integer x is equal with some value 10 and long y is equal, for example, 20. And if we try to perform the operation x plus y, can we perform this operation? This is the question. Can we perform this operation? Because x is a type of int, y is a type of long. So as I said, operation can be possible if both operand have the same type. Fine. So we'll try to find this answer by compiling and execution this code. Let's see compile it. So compilation is fine, no error. Can we execute it? Yes, it is fine. It is fine. Means we can perform this operation. I hope this statement is clear now. What I was saying, operation is possible only if both operand having the same type. So as we can see very clearly that x and y are not same. So why this operation gets evaluated? So there is a term that is called typecasting. This is called typecasting. So we'll see very recently, very quickly, and come to this part again. Both are the integral part. Can we assign the result of the expression x plus y to the z? Z is an int. Can we do this? Int z is equal x plus y. And can we write like this? Okay. So let's see that can we do this? Okay. I forgot to mention the semicolon, that's why this one. So incompatible type, possible also the conversion from the long to int that it says. But in the previous, if I want to only print the result, then it was not error. Now come to this coding part. Just remember, when you write any expression to evaluate, at the time of the evaluation, typecasting gets imposed into your expression and the value will be typecast into another type. So this x type is int and this y type is long. So when you perform and when you write this code, at the time of the execution, this x value will be typecast into the long because long has the higher byte to store the value. So this can be converted into the long to store the values into its bit pattern. So x will be become x not x, x value will be become into the long, and y is also long. So this expression will get evaluated. After that, this 10 and 20 will be added, and the result will become 30. Now that 30 will be type of long, because this has been changed to long and this is long. And now I want to assign that long value into the integer. So this cannot be possible automatically to come from the higher bit space to the lower bit space. So that's why we are getting error. If we store the value into the long, then this is fine. Look at here, and we are getting the output. Now, so this term is called a type conversion when we perform any arithmetic operation. So type conversion, typecasting is happen. Java allows values of one type to be converted to the different type, and this conversion occurs in the following situation. One, when we perform the assignment. Second, when we perform the arithmetic evaluation. And when the programmer explicitly requests a conversion. These two will be happen automatic, and if this gets false, then user can or programmer can request to the program that convert this value to the another value. And one more thing, not all conversions are possible, means boolean cannot be converted to any type of the value, any other type. If 64-bit value is put into 32-bit variable, there will be loss of the information, it says. So why this information will be lost, we'll see with the help of the examples and with the help of the code. So we'll see this type conversion in detail in the next session tomorrow. And after that, we'll move to the next topic. So before binding up this session, I just need from your side that is there any question, is there any doubt? And just tell me, do you know the HTML? Everyone? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, good. So HTML is not required to revise. Fine. Because when we will jump into the advanced part of the Java, and since the advanced Java is related to the web application development, so definitely we'll use some HTML code. So that's why I was asking. So it means HTML is not required in that case. Do you have any query? No, fine. Okay, thank you, Indra. Yes, Meng, you will get it by tomorrow. Okay, welcome. So, okay, thank you for joining this session. Tomorrow we'll meet at 8:30 p.m. IST. Bye-bye.